Will there be further opportunities for people to contribute to the Lords Committee's views of this? I know that you're continuing to engage in government. Are you interested in hearing from people their views, their experiences?
Absolutely, yes. The EU committee is continually talking with government on these issues, and absolutely, yes, we want to hear from people. So if you go to our House of Lords website and follow the links, you'll find an email address there, and other ways of contacting us and letting us know your views. And it really is important. That's part of the reason why we've been holding these stakeholder meetings, to try and get more members of the public who are engaged with these issues to let us know how it works for them. I think there's also this issue of the common strategic framework, which is still being discussed, how that is actually going to work. So we'd be particularly interested to hear people's views on that.
How do you see the link operating between ESF in its big strategic sense and the work that you observe on the ground? What's the connection between those two?
I think it's part of the problem that people see these things as really remote, and I don't know how that's overcome really. I mean, we actually did talk in the committee about whether it was an issue of publicity and giving information out to the public so that they were aware of how the ESF works in their communities, because they may not even know that it's made a significant input into things. So I do think that is quite important. These discussions do take place at a very high level because they're policy and strategy and so on and so forth, but they do have an impact, as it were, on the ground. We saw this both through looking at the grassroots sports issue and how the EU, even though there was a lot of feeling that this could somehow be more done, there was still that sense that quite a lot was being done and that some groups had access to it. And that was very illuminating, because if you take it right down literally to the ground where people are, and one of the projects that we had in the staff, and 2 members of staff who'd actually been clients at the project and now were members of staff, when they came in and talked about how, for example, low-level but very annoying antisocial behaviour in the area had been significantly reduced because they were able to bring in some of these young people who were causing trouble into the project, learning skills, learning coaching skills, etc., and doing something useful and feeling themselves to be productive and working with other members of the public in their particular area. All of that is really, really important. And so the ESF funding made that possible, made that happen. So I think perhaps we could do a better job of explaining to people how that works and how there is actually quite a significant contribution being made by these funds across the country.
And will you personally still have an involvement with ESF into the future?
Me personally, I don't anticipate that happening, because that area of work has now been distributed to another subcommittee, and I've moved on to an entirely different subject area, which is defence, foreign affairs and international development. So again, it will be something that has a huge impact on people's lives, but again, perhaps not in a way that is more generally appreciated. But somebody will be looking after the ESF, and I shall certainly be keeping my eye on it.
Baroness Young, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.